myself as the chairperson of the Uganda Association of University Women, my deputy, by then she was Miss Maria Goretti Mosoke. She's now a professor. Then the two of us employed a lady, she's Honorable Wanyoto, Member of Parliament. And to help us carry out some of the activities. And we had a few other members. We had a lady, we invited the media to help us do the publication of our ideas. And the lady is called, I think, Jipola. By that time she was called Jipola, I forget her second name. But, so that is the initial group that really started digesting this idea to help us host what we later called a proper founding meeting. And we invited NGOs, heads of institutions like secondary schools to participate in that meeting. And I think we were about 32 that participated in that meeting, which we later said this should be the founding meeting for the FAWE Uganda chapter.
Given that we started in 1997, we have supported a lot of girls, lot of young people in school. And I must say that we are proud that out of that support, we have touched directly over 8,000, that is through scholarships and bursaries. And out of those 8,000, there are so many who are in high offices, in this country. So they are actually contributing to development, to growth. And that actually is what we have been looking to. We have young people, girls, ladies in parliament. We have those who are engineers, we have doctors, we have teachers. Also to add, because the girls are not individuals in themselves, they come with families. We have reached out to different families and communities, to sensitize them on various aspects of livelihood, health matters, community development issues, GBV, prevention, protection. So we have reached out to a varied number of communities, amounting to millions of women, men, young people, and we have touched people, we have changed lives. I can say that out of the, reaching out, advocacy, radio programs, TV programs, media engagement generally, lives have changed. People have begun to appreciate, gender issues. People have begun to appreciate the aspect that education is important and critical in the lives of their children. So we have made changes in communities.
The fact that FAWE addresses the needs of the most vulnerable girl, the most vulnerable, they go to where you come from. They check your background. They even see your situation. If you are somewhere in the middle class, if your parents can afford, no, that is not a concern. Trying to build an all-round Uganda for all of us. Two, the advocacy for the girl child is so valid, is so loud. By the way, FAWE does not only stop with advocacy in schools. No, they even try to get the parents on board, how the teachers should manage girls. So this is not a simple journey. How many organizations are there to do this?
One thing I want to appreciate about FAWE, that time when they would bring your children to sponsor in the school, FAWE plays a parental role. They become a partner of the school. They participate in enhancing quality in that school. How? Because I was surprised when they brought children, there were about 5 children. The next thing I saw, they were arriving with boxes of textbooks. And I said, wow. So they don't only bring children to study in the school, they also want to see that the education quality is enhanced in that school.
So an opportunity to support and turn around lives of young people is something that has become a passion, especially because oftentimes girls are very disadvantaged. So the issue is one little thing can turn around the life.
The scholarship basically did like a total turn for me. I was this girl who was giving up on school, yet I had a big dream of becoming a doctor and treating the sick. And at that point, when I was dropping out of school, I got this life-changing scholarship that kept me in a very good school, like the best school in this country, King's College, Budo. And from there, I was able to realize my dream of becoming a doctor. So this scholarship took me from a place of being disadvantaged, where you don't have a voice, where you are, you're not respected, you're not, like that when someone is describing you, they use particular words, to another place where I'm a useful member of the society, where I'm also able to give back to community by treating the sick. So it totally changed my life. If I had missed that scholarship, that would be the end for me. I would not be the doctor I am today. I would not be as confident as I am today. I would not be advocating for girl-child education as I do today. No one would be looking for me, no one would know my name. I would probably have 16 children. Yeah, so clearly, this scholarship just shaped my future and made it brighter and made it more meaningful and useful.
In the holidays, I would go back home, sell things in the market, pancakes, drinks, in the market, in the small bars there, to collect money to be able to pay for the secondary school education. That was before FAWE came, but when FAWE came on board, instead of doing those other things of getting extra money, I would spend most of the time reading books at home and also, of course, doing housework here and there. But I used that time, I saved the time to read books, and it greatly helped me to perform well at Senior 4 and Senior 6.
Because of my scholarship that I got from FAWE and the education I've gone through the gates of FAWE, I am a different Grace. I am no longer the chicken girl they used to laugh at. Even the people who used to laugh at me now admire me, because I have moved the world. I have first of all, I've supported myself as Grace, who I evicted, and I always wanted to have a home. Today we have a Mwamba home, very beautiful home. My children are able to study. They are in first world schools, and I'm very glad. And that is Namagunga, Namiryango, and I'm very happy. But also my siblings have been able to excel because of me. I have supported them.
And I just want to say thank you so much to FAWE Uganda for the opportunity by supporting me and many other girls, but I speak for myself. By supporting me, you did not only support me, you brightened me up and opened up my mind to help other girls as well. Right now I'm supporting apart from a few of my family members, I'm supporting a few girls that I am not related to make sure that they are also empowered the way I was empowered. Thank you so much for supporting the girl child. It's usually said that educate a girl and educate a nation. That's a very correct statement. Thank you so much, and I hope that FAWE continues. I pray and believe that FAWE continues and that so many other people join FAWE, because like a few years ago I was in a totally different place, just like another girl out there who might be crying, who might be disadvantaged, and they're just looking for an opportunity to go to school and they become a better member of the society. So long live FAWE.
tukukamuko kakeera nnyo mama akolako wannyo alina okulabirira abato sikuulu fees okusoma n'ebitabo oluusi tebalina nga n'ekyokulya okukifuna baguba yatetenkanya yayiya ebyensulako n'ebyokulya omukyala basirika baguma banyigirizibwa naye bakola independent woman African woman omukyala singa si mukyala singa sasoma singa saiza singa si mama we singa sakula singa si mukyala singa sasoma singa saiza singa si mama we singa sakula singa tebereza ngali luto akabanga kawanvu ku hospital kale sirinyawo tazirina natambula sina kinja azalidde kukubo tewali ayamba naguma yennyabo bagumira biki olugendo lw'okukuza omwana nga luwanvu baguma banyirikivu bakola bebakyala singa 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 mama we sasoma singa saiza si mama we singa sakula singa singa si mukyala singa sasoma singa saiza singa si mama we singa sakula singa komawo nga tafunye yadde nyabo ebiwaka byonna yabimala okwambala sako n'eddwaliro mama nyiikira nnyo nnyo. She's so hard working and mankind. She's a woman of integrity, a mother, omukyala, my mama, you must sing us omukyala, sing us a song, sing us a God, mama we, mama we, sing us a song, sing us a God, sing us a kula, mama, I got, sing us a kula. goita dia. Nyumisiza obulamu nange ntaka mupulani nawe. Amaso gange kupe tukamisinde mumpita njagala tukaddiwe nga yenza koyita ddiya. Walivuga kagaali nange nibakugalira njagala tukaddiwe nga yenza koyita ddiya.
Ladies and gentlemen, our chief guest is arriving any minute from now. So thank you very much again for being here, for keeping time. And in the receiving party, I'd just like to ask these ladies to be on attention. Miss Susan Opoktu Musimwe from FAWE Uganda, as well as Miss Margaret Mugeni, Honorable Simone Marie Anne Komamond, as well as Honorable Sarah Mateke, the State Minister for Youth and Children Affairs. We have Miss Martha Mwezi from FAWE Africa as well, the Executive Director, and Honorable Ruth Kavuma, the Deputy Chairperson for NERA. They are on the receiving party. Our chief guest will be arriving shortly. We also have Honorable Rose Obiga, who's joining our receiving party. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll ask you to stand by. gentlemen, please rise for our chief guest. A very warm welcome to our chief guest, the First Lady and Honorable Minister for Education and Sports. She's joining us for the celebrations today. 25 years, Silver Jubilee celebrations for FAWE Uganda. I'd like to ask that you remain standing until our chief guest is settled. And to give you an idea of what's next, that will be followed by the national anthem, the East African anthem, the FAWE anthem, and then an opening prayer. Thank you. A warm welcome to our chief guest here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay on your feet, stay standing for the national anthem, followed by the East African anthem and the FAWE anthem.
humble ourselves for prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, the most gracious, the most merciful Father, we praise you, we thank you, and we really praise you for your giving us this beautiful country. Thank you very much for the gift of life. Thank you very much for our leaders. Thank you very much for our parents and the families in Uganda. We bring forward today the Day Forum for African Women Educationalists, FAWE, today as they launch a Silver Jubilee. We also pray the breaking barriers of the girls' future through education to give it more blessings. Send your Holy Spirit today, dear Lord. I request this and pray through Jesus Christ our Lord. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Our chief guest, Honorable First Lady, Minister of Education and Sports. Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, Mama Janet Museveni. You're very welcome. His Excellency Kevin Colgan, Ambassador to Uganda, that is Irish Ambassador to Uganda. Representing the European Ambassador, European Union Ambassador, Nicholas Gonze. State Minister for Youth and Children Affairs, Honorable Sarah Mateke. Members of Parliament, UN heads of agencies present and development partners, Ms. Adekemi Ndieli, UN Women Country Representative, Secretary General of UNESCO, Ms. Rosie Agoy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome, all protocol observed. Such a pleasure to see you here. My name is Crystal Newman. It is my honor to be your mistress of ceremony for the program today. And you are all very welcome to the Silver Jubilee celebrations of FAWE Uganda. Yes, 25 years, changing the lives of so many young girls and women at all levels of education. Truly something to celebrate. Now, I'd ask your permission to continue to invite and recognize the VIPs that are present here, to recognize the presence of our VIPs. But we are here for an amazing occasion. As you all know, COVID-19 has affected so many people around the world, so many sectors, so many men and women, but especially school-going children and young girls. There is a lot that needs to be done as we head back into what is still the new normal and school for many of our young girls and young ladies. For that reason, FAWE Uganda has pledged to join the national campaign launched in December last year to protect the girl and save the nation, a campaign that was launched by our chief guest, the Honorable First Lady. Round of applause. So, as we begin our program, I would like to kindly but firmly request that all our speakers are brief and keep to the time that has been allotted to them. For a proper welcome, please welcome Miss Margaret Atim Mugeni and Dr. Jane Mulemwa from the board chairperson for FAWE Uganda, for our welcome remarks.
First Lady, Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, Mama Janet Kataha Museveni, Your Excellencies, ambassadors here present, ministers of Cabinet of Uganda, members of Parliament, development partners, civil service organization leadership, which is presented here, officials from government agencies, religious leaders, members of FAWE family, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mrs. Margaret Ati Mugeni, current chairperson, Board of Directors, Forum for African Education, Uganda. I greet you all with gratitude and joy that you and I have this great opportunity to witness one of the most exciting times in the history of FAWE Uganda, the Silver Jubilee launch. On behalf of FAWE Uganda Board of Directors, management and staff, I extend a very warm welcome to you all. It gives me great honor and delight to welcome our chief guest, First Lady and Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, Mama Janet Kataha Museveni. You are very much welcome to join your family because you are our patron. Thank you so much for taking off your busy schedule and honoring our invitation and being with your children, especially girl children. It's a privilege and a blessing to be with you today. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for choosing to be with us and witnessing the launch of our 25th anniversary Silver Jubilee celebrations. With the main aim of this launch, the main objective is of creating awareness through the whole nation on the increasing obstacles affecting girl child education. Education, just to note briefly, forms character, increases strength of the mind, expands the intellect, and enables one to stand on one's own feet. As such, the future of the girl child is shaped into her full potential. It's worthy a course to follow. We thank you, FAWE Uganda and FAWE Africa. I would like to extend my thank you and appreciation, gratitude to the founders of FAWE Africa. We are blessed to have one of the original founders, Mama Simone Marie Anne Comaron, one of the original founders, the initiators. Currently is the chairperson, FAWE Africa. We are also privileged to have two other founder members. These ones are of FAWE Uganda. Here with me is Dr. Jane Muremwa, and we also have Professor Maria Goretti Musoke. Just to mention a little bit about Dr. Jane, is a female scientist and the chairperson, Petroleum Authority of Uganda. Thus, she's a distinguished girl child whose potential was fully realized through education. Congratulations to all of us, the alumni of FAWE, and all of us who struggled on our own as girls to reach where we are. Our dear chief guest, Honorable Janet Kataha Museveni, allow me to invite Dr. Jane Muremwa to share with us her vision, their vision, which have resulted in what we see as FAWE Uganda. Thank you all. Welcome for God and my country.
Thank you very much indeed. Our chief guest, Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, and the First Lady, Honorable Janet Kataha Museveni, distinguished government officials and representatives, FAWE regional partners, FAWE Uganda partners, the entire FAWE Uganda fraternity and associates, the FAWE Uganda board, executive director and staff, all protocol observed, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great pleasure that I join you at this event when we celebrate the Silver Jubilee of FAWE Uganda chapter. But first, let me ask you to join me to warmly welcome our chief guest at this function, the Honorable Minister of Education and Sports and First Lady, Honorable Janet Museveni. Ma'am, we are most obliged that you have been able to find the time to grace this occasion with your personal presence. Thank you very much indeed. A round of applause, please. Secondly, I wish to add my welcome to all of you, the FAWE regional fraternity, the FAWE Uganda fraternity, our members, partners, associates, mass media, and everybody who is here for having spared time to join us at this milestone occasion as we celebrate 25 years of FAWE Uganda chapter's active existence and presence in Uganda. Thank you very much indeed. Now, briefly, I'll take you through the founding of TASO, the founding of FAWE Uganda. I'm also a founder member of TASO, I keep forgetting that. The journey sort of started way back in 1982 when I graduated with a PhD in physical organic chemistry and returned home to my mother university, Makerere University, where I initiated, together with a visiting professor, and started a new department then, the Department of Science and Technical Education within the School of Education, becoming its founding head and being its head for the next 10 years until 1998. I therefore pursued a very aggressive research agenda, having recognized that I'm one of the very few scientists available in the country. And I carried out quite a lot of research, funded by the World Bank, UNICEF, EDEA, and so on. It was about early 1990s that I got to know about the Uganda Association of University Women, an association that had actually been founded way back in 1957, but had gone dormant because there were very few women at university level at that time. And so it was being revamped at that time around 1991, 92. And it was about that time that FAWE Regional was also being founded. So FAWE Regional organization was now becoming known in Uganda mainly because we had 3 full members of the regional FAWE as Ugandans. Namely, we had by then the Vice President of Uganda, Honorable Specioza Wandira Kazibwe, was a member. We had the Honorable Minister of former Honorable Minister of Education, Geraldine Namirembe Bitamazire, as a member, and we had Madame Joyce Mpanga as a member then. And then the current minister then, Honorable Nuwamanya Mushega, was an associate member because he was the Minister of Education at that time. So, through my research agenda, I got a sponsorship of FAWE Regional to sponsor a workshop organized by the Uganda Association of University Women, of which I was a member in 1994. And we are looking at that time at what was put in place when the new policy on education was being developed. So we wanted to do a thorough analysis of that policy at that time, the white paper, to see that they had actually included enough provisions for the education of the girl child and the women. Then in about 1995, again through a research program, I met the then first executive director of the regional FAWE, Dr. Eda W. Gachukia, at a meeting in Nairobi. And she's the one who gave me the details of FAWE. And that's when I recognized that region of FAWE had objectives that were very, very similar to what the objectives of the Uganda Association of University Women were. So when I returned home in 1995, I worked closely with my then deputy chairperson of the Association of Uganda's, with the Uganda Association of University Women. Now she's Professor Maria Musoke. I don't know if she's here. I handed over the responsibility for her to help us develop and plan a roadmap to launch a FAWE chapter in Uganda. So in early 1996, on 4th of July, 1996, I had earlier talked to the then Vice Chancellor of Makerere University, Professor John P. Sebuufu, and requested him to host our meeting, the first ever meeting, where we had invited all NGOs and everybody that we knew had an interest in girls' education. We invited them to that meeting, organized and convened by the Uganda Association of University Women, but hosted by the Vice Chancellor himself, Professor Sebuufu. So on that very day, that meeting was attended by about 32 people, representatives of different organizations that had an interest in girl-child education. And we called that the founding meeting of FAWE Uganda chapter, because once the university women presented the proposal for starting a chapter, a FAWE chapter in Uganda, the members accepted, and that was the sort of start of the FAWE Uganda chapter. Thereafter, we worked with the Minister of Education, Honorable Nuwa Amanya Mushega, and the chapter was actually launched on the 26th and 27th of February 1997 by the Honorable Minister Nuwa Amanya Mushega. So that's the brief history of the founding of the FAWE Uganda chapter. But I must add that at that time, the objectives of that chapter were two. One, we wanted to use the existing data to design programs that can improve girls' and women's education at all the different levels of society. And two, we wanted to promote women's leadership and policy-making skills within the education institutions. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, finally, I want to take this very important opportunity to recognize and record appreciation to all the former board chairs, the executive directors, and staff of FAWE since its inception way back in 1997 to date. I heartily congratulate the current board chair, Madam Margaret Atiem Mugeni here, and the ED Suzanne Opok-Tusime, and all the entire staff of FAWE Uganda for having worked so hard to bring this organization to where it is right now. I know there are some of the board chairs right here. Madam Kavuma was the first chairperson, Professor Okwakol. There are a few right there. I hope somebody will give them the recognition that they deserve. Lastly, and very importantly, I proudly stand here, very gratified that an idea that I brought as an individual, nurtured through colleagues, has ended up being vibrant and helping so many people 25 years down the line. And so I hope and pray, ladies and gentlemen, and I have trust that the good Lord will continue to bless us as we celebrate the first 25 years, but more importantly, as we launch the next 25 years with gusto, with determination, with commitment, with integrity. I thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jane Mulemwa and Miss Margaret Atim Mugeni. Thank you so much for your words and for your wisdom and your experience and for pretty much helping us get to where we are today. Allow me to recognize the presence of Professor Joy Kwesiga, the Vice Chancellor of Kabale University, here with us. Yes. And again, we would like to stick to the program and keep time. I shall invite our next speaker right now, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome the Executive Director for FAWE Uganda, Miss Susan Opok Tumusime. You're welcome.
Our chief guest, First Lady, Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, Patron FAWE Uganda, distinguished crusader of girls' education, welcome to this celebration and launch of FAWE Uganda Silver Jubilee celebration. Our chief guest, Mama Janet Museveni, Your Excellencies, ambassadors present here, EU representative, ministers, members of parliament, UN agencies, development partners, civil society organizations, officials from government, religious leaders, FAWE family, the media, ladies and gentlemen. I extend a very warm welcome to you all, and it gives me great pleasure to formally welcome our chief guest, Her Excellency, Mama Janet Kataha Museveni. Thank you very much, Mama, for honoring us and for being with us here today. As we celebrate our 25 years of Silver Jubilee in a very special way, we thank you for taking your time off the busy schedule and gracing us our occasion. FAWE celebrates 25 years at a critical moment in our country and the world at large, following the disruption from COVID-19 pandemic. We thank God who saved us, and we are all here. Our chief guest, Mama, let me take this opportunity to introduce to you the great ladies that founded FAWE and FAWE Uganda, respectively. I know that Dr. Jane has mentioned them, but I would like them to stand up for recognition, for they have done a good job, and a vision that they started 25 years, and for FAWE Africa 30 years ago, still stands and is still relevant. Please stand up for recognition and applaud. Thank you very much. Our chief guest, I would also like to recognize the current and former FAWE Uganda board chairpersons. If they could please stand up for recognition. The current and former FAWE Uganda board chairpersons. Yes, we have Ms. Margaret Atim, who is the current. We have Ms. Ruth Kavuma. We have Professor Mary Okwakol. You can see that all these are distinguished ladies, respectable ladies, diligent ladies with integrity. So that is what FAWE actually is. Thank you. I would also like to call upon the FAWE board members. FAWE board members, please stand up. Thank you very much. Our chief guest, we have 10 current board members, and I must say that within the board, we have representatives from the Ministry of Education and Sports, who is Commissioner Brighton Barugahare, as part of our board. We have the headmistress, Wanange Girls School. We have Mr. Tim, who was formerly headmistress, Mary Hill High School. We have Susan Mwanga, who is from the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. And we have Irene Kiza, who is a media consultant. We also have Ms. Maureen Tweyonjere, who is representing the principal, Makerere University Business School. So these are the board members. I hope I haven't forgotten it. We have Dr. Christine, who is a senior lecturer at Gulu University. We also have a representation from Nudipu. I'm not sure if Patrick is around, as well as alumni. So the board is a very comprehensive board. Thank you, you may sit. Our chief guest, Mama, I would also like to introduce to you the CEO of FAWE Africa, Ms. Martha Muhezi, who is present amidst us. She was also formerly FAWE Uganda Executive Director. Our chief guests, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, as indicated at initiation 25 years ago, the objective was to design programs that can improve girls' and women's education at different levels of society and to promote women's leadership and policy-making skills within the education institutions. These issues are still pertinent today as they were then, and we are much better facilitated and prepared to solve them today, despite the numerous challenges, hence FAWE Uganda 4 programmatic areas to solve some of these issues that we are dealing with. One of our key areas of operation is scholarships, and that has been the flagship of FAWE, to provide opportunities for young, bright, disadvantaged girls to access and complete an education. To date, our chief guests, honorable dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, we have supported over 9,700 young people, starting with 30 young people who were supported through membership contribution. And I would like to thank the members that started this process, as well as the partners that currently support the young people, as well as those that supported them at the time. We actually have 8,309 girls supported so far, and 1,343 boys. We support girls and boys at a ratio of 70-30. Currently, we have 596 young people on scholarships, and some of them are here with the placards telling us about what happened to them and why they are who they are. These distinguished ladies and gentlemen are engineers, medical personnel, teachers, entrepreneurs. We have, what haven't I called? CEOs. So you can see what FAWE is doing. Each of these girls and boys have a deep story to tell about what has brought them here today. And I want to thank FAWE for supporting them. I want to thank all our partners who have worked with us to support these girls. I can see amidst us here, we have UN Women, Irish Aid, UNICEF, Wellspring Philanthropic Fund, and many others. Thank you. That is our scholarship. In terms of protection, as we may know, Mama, protection of girls is closely linked to education. FAWE Uganda has, together with partners, facilitated the prevention of violence against children in and around schools and communities. We utilize different models, including the FAWE gender-responsive pedagogy, Tuseme, literally meaning let's speak, so that the girls can voice up, in addition to the good school toolkit and skillful parenting models adopted from our partners to facilitate conducive environment for young people to thrive. We currently are part of the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, work and parenting working groups. Our chief guests, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, FAWE Uganda does a lot of advocacy. Together with these line ministries of the Education and Sports, Gender, Labor and Social Development, Ministry of Science and Technology and Innovations, we've taken strides in advocating for issues that facilitate the ability for girls to actively participate in education and improve their performance. Some of the areas in which we do advocacy is adolescent sexual and reproductive health, so that we end teenage pregnancy and child marriage, and rallies duty holders to enforce laws, pass ordinances, allocate resources for girls' protection, and popularize the sexuality education framework, which provides soft skills for young people to live their lives. I want to believe that if we had utilized the sexuality education framework, probably today we would have had a different stories, as we all know that there are so many girls that are pregnant, and it could be because they lack the knowledge and skills to protect themselves. Our chief guest, we have also advocated for STEM for girls, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Our chief guest, we may all know that in the global world today, science is important and more critical for girls. So we have been working to ensure that girls take on science subjects and science professions. We also advocate for the re-entry of teenage mothers into school settings. We have done this through the Second Chance Education supported by UN Women, as well as other funders, as well as ensuring that we advocate for policies and guidelines that can support the re-entry of young mothers. We worked with the Gender Unit to Ministry of Education, as well as the Department of Counseling within the Ministry of Education on the re-entry guidelines, as well as on the senior women and senior male teacher re-entry guidelines, to ensure that we create conducive environments for girls and boys in school. Our chief guest, Mama, we have also been advocating for the Higher Education Access Certificate or Bridging Program. FAWE Uganda initiated and supported 3 partner universities, Busitema, Mbarara University of Science and Technology, and Gulu University, to design and roll us the Higher Education Access Certificate to provide second chance opportunities for promising students to transit into university degree programs. Mama, this program supports children that have not attained the required pass grade to go into direct university entry. So it is now considered a 4th entry point to university after the direct entry, diploma entry, mature entry, and then the Higher Education Access Certificate. So young people join the university for programs which take 9 months, and after that they are examined and they can go into their courses of interest. Through this program, we have seen over 600 students apply and take the course, as well as 7 public universities. Some of the vice chancellors that are taking on this program are here with us, and they can stand for recognition. Our chief guest, thank you very much. Our chief guest, Mama, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, FAWE is also involved in research. FAWE Uganda has taken studies to avail information and that consequently inform policy. So far, the studies on the linkages between teenage pregnancy and school dropout, situation of and impact of COVID-19 on school-going girls and young women, and impact of COVID-19 on employment and education of persons with disability have been undertaken. And these are critical documents that can guide policy. Our chief guest, our Silver Jubilee celebration comes at a challenging moment, at a time when our communities are dealing with increased sexual and gender-based violence, including high rates of teenage pregnancies, and educational institutions dealing with issues of young girls who are now here following recent COVID, who are now mothers following recent COVID lockdown. FAWE Uganda joined FAWE Uganda joined hands with multiple stakeholders to address effects on the girls' education and well-being. This includes being a part of the national campaign, Protect the Girl, Save the Nation, that you launched in December 2021, Mama. We thank you very much for having launched this campaign because it's calling action and bringing institutions together to fight for the lives and well-being of girls. Mama, what FAWE has done to date on the campaign is to disseminate the study findings at national, regional, and institutional levels, providing the situation of girls during COVID. We have also, together with the gender unit of the Ministry of Education, been able to disseminate the guidelines on the role of senior women and senior male teachers, as well as that on the prevention and management of teenage pregnancies and re-entry of young mothers into school settings. We have also consciously raised awareness on the prevention of violence against children, promoting positive parenting, and go back to school campaigns in our working communities in Karamoja, Rwenzoris, West Nile, and Acholi. Our chief guest, Mama, last weekend I was in Karamoja, and the young people of Karamoja asked me to pass a message to you to say that Karamoja requires affirmative action in terms of education. According to them, they thought that cattle was their challenge. However, they realized that the challenge is more education, the lack of education. They say that because the young people spend so much time at home, they are inculcated into practices that are not friendly, that are not supportive of the well-being of the young people. So they request that your ministry, Mama, can come up with a program together with partners to ensure that all young people in Karamoja attain an education, that they can study within a certain allotted time and then be allowed to go and graze so that the mindset can be changed. I hope, Mama, this can be actualized. Mama, we have also initiated a fundraising drive as part of our COVID response to send 2,000 girls back to school through the Give Her a Chance drive. FAWE Uganda conducted a Give Her a Chance drive last month to ensure that we collect some funds to begin sending young people to school. Our aim is to have 2,000 girls back in school. A staff initiative supporting 30 disadvantaged girls return to school is also an immediate action and response to the current challenge that we have taken on. This is in addition to providing mentorship and psychosocial support. As we celebrate FAWE Uganda's achievements, allow me to appreciate the great partners for your dedication and efforts over the years. We thank the government of Uganda, funding partners, past and present, including UNICEF, MasterCard Foundation, Oxfam Uganda, UN Women, Dubai Cares, Wellspring Philanthropic Fund, Irish Aid, Enabel and GIZ, MTN Foundation, social initiatives, and many more. In addition to civil society organizations, private sector, learning institutions, FAWE Regional Secretariat, and individual partners. Thank you very much for making the lives of these people become what it is today. Let us applaud you. Our chief guest, Mama, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, we look forward to walking the next phase of the exciting journey together with you and many others as we consolidate our achievements and move to higher heights in this endeavor of girls' education. Our chief guest, as we further the agenda of girls' education, the key input is education and protection. There are many attempts and efforts being undertaken with considerations on how to deal with negative social norms, particularly resulting from patriarchy in our society. This should be history as we all join the campaign, Protect the Girl, Save the Nation. Above all, Mama, we would like to see more girls attain their God-given potential and become resourceful members of society. To attain these demands, commitment and enforcement of policies that enhance dignity for girls must be done. We trust that through your office, this can be actualized. The next phase of our journey calls for partnership and collaboration to support accomplishment of our next strategic direction in breaking barriers to girls' future through education. And I count on you all to be a part of this exciting phase of impact. We take our next step knowing that very little is achieved to date, and especially because of the pandemic, and more to be done. Together, we can do more and better. Our chief guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to put context into the situation of girls. As we did selection for second chance education, there was a young girl who, on hearing about the advert, ran to FAWE. Unfortunately, she had been made as a worker for her brother, who is in Kampala, together with his family, to work in his salon. Now, because the girl wanted to go back to school, the mother told us that this girl could not go because the brother did not allow her, since he was the one looking after the family. In other words, and in many situations, girls do not have voices. So as I conclude, I would like us to think about this girl as an individual. How can we all, through the campaign, support her so that we can protect her and save the nation, Uganda? As I conclude, I take the opportunity to sincerely thank our chief guest on behalf of FAWE family for gracing this occasion as First Lady, Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, patron, mother of the nation, distinguished and passionate advocate for girls' well-being. Thank you very much, Mama, for your role with the girls. I also would like to extend the same appreciation to our friends and partners of choice for honoring our invite and a job well done as we stand together in this cause. Our celebration, which began with a pre-event, the Give Her a Chance charity run, is followed by this launch and subsequent activities to raise funds to educate at least 2,000 vulnerable girls in our society this year. We look forward to serving with you together as a united force, for united we stand, divided we fall. Let's give her a chance for God and my country. Thank you.
A big thank you to the Executive Director of FAWE Uganda and to the beneficiaries who joined her up here, who have really come such a long way because of this chance, because of this opportunity over the last 25 years. And as all of us here, I truly believe that in one way or another, we can add to the education and protection of girls. And each and every one of us can make a difference. So the fundraising drive to give her a chance, it has been launched. There was a charity walk, which I was part of, 5 kilometers, which was very good for me because I realized that I definitely need more exercise in my life. But there's so many ways that we can contribute to this campaign, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to invite His Excellency, the Irish Ambassador to Uganda, to give his remarks. His Excellency, Kevin Colgan. You're welcome.
Your Excellency, Minister of Education and Sports and First Lady, the Honourable Minister of State for Youth and Children, other Cabinet Ministers, Ministers of State and Members of Parliament, the Board of FAWE Uganda and your fraternity, representatives and colleagues in the UN and development partners, in civil society organisations, the private sector, and religious and cultural leaders, the young people, and especially the girls here present, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. I'm honoured to join you to represent the educational development partners, but also as an old friend of FAWE, whom I worked with back in the late 90s, at this important and historic event, as FAWE celebrates its 25th birthday and its huge and significant contribution to the education sector in Uganda. This is no small milestone, and we should applaud you for your work. In the first place, I would like to thank Your Excellency, Minister of Education and First Lady, who is the key supporter of girls' education and the committed adolescent girl champion, and the Minister of State for Youth and Children, whom I met recently on youth and girls' education in Karamoja. We must applaud such high-level female leaders for spearheading and promoting gender equity and equality in education and across the nation. I think you will agree with me that there is strong political will, leadership and commitment to fight the barriers to girls' education, and it is a clear sign of our shared commitment and vision in support of FAWE to break the barriers to girls' future through education. This work by FAWE directly contributes to the important government initiatives such as the promotion of teenage pregnancy guidelines and the campaign on teenage pregnancy under the Protect the Girl, Save the Nation, which you, Honourable First Lady, and your colleagues launched recently here in Kololo. I would like to quote from Henry Ford, the great entrepreneur who underpinned the significance of collective action, noting that coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success. So congratulations to FAWE and the government of Uganda in coming together. Ireland has a history of fruitful partnership with FAWE. When we first supported them to provide bursary scholarships for the most vulnerable yet bright Karamajongs to access, remain in school and complete basic education. The programme focused specifically on enabling adolescent youth, especially girls, to transition from post-primary to secondary levels. Through FAWE's work, we were able to support over 2,000 scholars to complete their education training, and most of these are now working, including, most importantly, back in Karamoja. It is also impressive the path and evolution that FAWE, as a girls' support organisation, has come, and is now a recognised, respected partner for both government, donors and civil society working all over Uganda. FAWE has remained true to its mandate, focusing on its target population, girls, and not just girls, the most vulnerable, with the aim to give a second chance for them to learn and develop. The work of FAWE nationally, and particularly in Karamoja, remains critically to help the government and her partners to deliver its country strategies and in turn support the National Development Plan and achieve its goals. We appreciate Uganda for adopting appropriate policies and investments for young people, in particular the girls, to accelerate economic growth and social economic transformation. Uganda's National Development Plan 3 has a clear ambition that poor, vulnerable and marginalised individuals are able to attain a decent living, which means that Ugandan youths, including girls, should not just survive but thrive. In this regard, the education partners have continued to support the government of Uganda in its fight against these challenges, inequalities and equity issues, such as teenage pregnancy, early marriages, defilement, and high dropout rate by girls. A case in point is our continued support of the Ministry of Education's Gender Technical Unit, with a focus on mainstreaming gender across all departments, and hence to break gender and equity barriers for girls in education. In fact, Ireland as a country itself has many experiences to share with Uganda. It has the youngest population in Europe, with a third of its population under 25 years. But it's not long ago where contraception was unavailable and education was not universally accessible, and where unmarried mothers were not welcome in the education setting. A major milestone worth recalling is Ireland introduced free secondary education in 1967. Within a decade of this announcement, participation rates in secondary level had doubled, and we now have more women than men with third level education. Notwithstanding the particular challenges related to girls' education, which have remained critical to this country, UNICEF estimates that 30% of girls in this country drop out because of early marriage, while 23% drop out due to teenage pregnancy. UNESCO estimates that globally, if girls completed primary school, child marriage would fall by 14%. If they all finished secondary school, it would plummet by 46% or 64%. There's also compelling evidence when it comes to HIV. Girls with post-primary education are 5 times more likely than non to be educated women on the topic of HIV/AIDS and other health-related issues. The importance of keeping girls in secondary school is striking. The impact of COVID escalated these challenges in the years of school closures. The loss of learning, the psychosocial impact on children, teachers and parents, increased vulnerabilities and inequalities are just some of the challenges that we've faced. Critical to note, the teenage pregnancies remain a major challenge and a root cause of school dropout. They are on the rise in the aftermath of COVID. We appreciate the Ministry for developing guidelines on the re-entry of teenage mothers back into the schools, and partners like FAWE for supporting the rollout of them. All education development partners remain committed to helping to address these challenges, together with our implementing partners, but it will require effort and resources from all stakeholders, including wider government, society, its political and cultural leaders, as well as parents and children themselves to join in the fight. Most importantly, to support the effective implementation of gender strategies and guidelines that offer a second chance and opportunities for many vulnerable and disadvantaged girls to access and complete education and training. Affirmative action to re-engage and re-enroll children in school is a priority, with a particular focus on teenage mothers and dealing with teenage pregnancy. We welcome the multiple adaptive and innovative approaches and initiatives proposed to enroll and keep girls in school. But we must ensure that schools continue to provide a safe learning environment for all children. We will also need to prioritise the psychosocial well-being of children, especially those who have experienced the trauma of being child mothers. We must also, even more than before, promote the universal right to education by encouraging teenage mothers to return to school. Girls who become mothers during the pandemic must be offered the necessary support to do so without stigma, judgment or discrimination. And I reiterate our support of the importance of the institutionalisation of the gender unit within the Ministry of Education. Taking such action will enable us to better protect the girl and save the nation, and break the barriers to girls' future through education. I would therefore like to amplify the messages from FAWE on the need to create more awareness on the challenges faced by girls, and encourage all of us to form a formidable force that will deliberately address these critical issues. We look forward to learning more about FAWE's work as we continue to navigate the challenges mentioned. Honourable Minister and First Lady, and your team, Ireland as Chair of the Education Development Partners Group is committed to working with your Ministry in this important leadership role, and we call upon all stakeholders to support this important work. In conclusion, again, I would like to congratulate Susan and her team for their achievements and wish them continued success as you launch Breaking Barriers to Girls' Future of Education. Thank you again for inviting me to join today's celebration. Thank you.
big thank you to His Excellency Kevin Colgan, the Irish Ambassador to Uganda, for your remarks and for sharing some of your background as well as a country. One of the things that was very clear that was announced earlier was, much as we're talking about young girls, school-going girls, young women, FAWE Uganda also helps a lot of boys. So it's important to have this conversation that includes the boy child and of course men. If we just look around, there are so many men here with us today. And the reality is, yes, the men are clapping. The reality is we live together, we work together, we coexist, and we must continue to work together. Yes? Yes. Allow me to welcome our next speaker, Ms. Adekemi Ndieli, the UN Women Country Representative. You're very welcome.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, my name is Adekemi Ndieli, and I am the head of UN Women here in Uganda. Your Excellency, the First Lady and Minister of Sports, as well as the chief guest at this very important occasion, ambassadors present, cabinet ministers, MPs, FAWE board and fraternity, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to stand on existing protocols. UN Women is honored to be part of FAWE Uganda's celebration as we mark the 25 years of transforming lives through education. When I saw the range of professions that were listed on those placards this afternoon, it brought me close to tears. This is lives transformed who may never have been where they are today had it not been for FAWE. Please, let's put our hands together again for FAWE Uganda. Thank you very much, FAWE Uganda. We are proud to have walked part of this journey with you, FAWE, and in terms of working both with you at national and regional levels. 25 years of existence is no mean feat. A legacy of excellence and that categorizes FAWE Uganda's efforts in Uganda even beyond. True to its unique selling point, which is to keep an inherent focus on girls and women's education, training, development, all the while not losing sight of boys and men. I was impressed to hear you have 30% for men and boys. That is really great. FAWE Uganda has left an indelible mark in the sphere of access to quality education and training by addressing the barriers to education across many, many levels. UN Women partnered with FAWE Uganda in 2019 and implemented what we call the Second Chance Education Program, which aims at giving vulnerable children, vulnerable girls, another opportunity and a chance to go back to school and attain a skill or complete a level that makes them eligible for the next level of competition to join the job market. In addition, UN Women has worked with FAWE Uganda to understand the impact of COVID-19 on the school-going girls in Uganda, where our findings have shown a 22.5% increase in pregnancy among girls aged 10 to 24 as they seek antenatal care in the first 3 months of pregnancy and during lockdown, the first lockdown. Our research also revealed that more than 3 times increase in teenage pregnancy among girls between the ages of 10 and 14 years. More than 3 times, that is huge, compared to previous years before 2020. Underlying these numbers was the violation of the girls' rights as seen in numerous child brides, those who have been sold in marriages, those who have been trafficked, sex exploitation, and the limitations in access to sexual and reproductive health information services, as well as a comprehensive education here in Uganda. These barriers need to be addressed very urgently and in time and in a contextualized and in a very important way to address discrimination in the educational system. From these findings, it was clear that the situation of girls is dire, and the battle towards ensuring that vulnerable girls receive an education is one that everybody needs to be a part of. The family systems have clearly failed the girl child. The community has clearly failed the girl child. When the call for the second chance education, which Susan mentioned earlier, was made, 3,300 girls applied, and only 1,500 of these girls were selected based on the criteria that I had mentioned earlier on. Of those who were selected, only 657 completed, and 263 are yet to complete their education to the next level. This is just a drop in the ocean. However, we are implementing this initiative as a proof of context and a proof of concept to show that this is workable and this can transform lives as well. Girls under this program are encouraged to take on non-traditional courses. If you turn to the back of your files on your table, you will see those girls who are welders out there on the files. Those are non-traditional courses. We are going to be supporting drivers, we're supporting bricklayers, women, to take up these roles and break the glass ceiling in those areas. And this is in partnership with FAWE Uganda. Thank you very much to FAWE Uganda for looking beyond the normal and pushing the barriers to the next level. Girls under this program are encouraged to take up these traditional courses, non-traditional courses, and during the second lockdown, many of the beneficiaries applied their skills to maneuver the challenges prevented by the lockdown. We thank FAWE Uganda for not only identifying the need, but going a step further and acting upon it and blazing the trail here in Uganda. To further the second chance education agenda, FAWE Uganda organized a charity run on the 9th of April under the theme, Give Her a Chance, to raise awareness on the vices meted out on girls and as a practical way of raising funds to send back at least 2,000 girls, vulnerable girls back to school and complete their education. I went for a program once in Kabaramaido I would never forget, and the deputy RDC, after she spoke, she said, I am a beneficiary of FAWE Uganda's program supported by UN Women. And had it not been for them, I would be a village girl lost in the village. These are the stories that make one want to continue to support these very laudable initiatives. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is in line with and complements the national campaign that was launched by the First Lady and the Minister of Education and Sports to protect the girl and save the nation. We each have a role to play, and we must take a step to do something. I was reading a report about Soroti Secondary School that has put measures in place, has built an extension, and has provided a double room for pregnant or lactating mothers to be able to take care of their children. They have gone further to provide a nurse on call who would be able to attend to these babies and children. These are laudable initiatives and measures that need to be replicated all across the nation. The responsibility, yes, thank you. The responsibility to overcome barriers to education for the girl child is a role that we all need to embrace. We salute the First Lady for the laudable initiative to protect the girl and save the nation, but we all have a role to play, and we must all rally around and ensure that we can do this. And one way that you can the part of this is also to support FAWE Uganda. Once again, First Lady, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I congratulate FAWE Uganda for making 25 years, and here is to another 25 and 50 years of leaving an indelible mark in the lives of women and girls. Thank you very much for your time.
Round of applause for Miss Adekemi Ndieli, the UN Women Country Representative. Thank you so much for your remarks, and again for highlighting how powerful it is when you meet a beneficiary, when they share the story, and then you realize so many lives have been changed and can be changed by each and every one of us. So again, the campaign, the fundraising drive has been launched by FAWE Uganda, that is Give Her a Chance. And I think I'd like to hold every single person here to giving something today, because we can all make a difference in one way or another. Ladies and gentlemen, music lifts spirits, music brings us together, and we're going to take a very short musical break right now. Please welcome the Ad Concepts.
Otio umura, otkshe. Kakura mechenche kakana makabara barakata machuma koni tega nkondo banda kakare chira kaya ngara sunukanda kwando kwena tankore katera sika machumulia. Umura. Yite tibachenda che bachenda che. Yeyi watu bachenda nubana gemikono. Yeyiwe muroji bachenda che bachenda che. Yeyi watu bachenda nubana gemikono. Murunja tubachenzo wabarebera. Yeyi watu bachenda nubana gemikono. Yeyiwe muroji bachenda che bachenda che. Yeyi watu bachenda nubana gemikono. Yeyiwe muroji kundu banguine kanyanya. Yeyi watarzine kwenye mrawi. Yeyiwe muroji bachenda che bachenda che. Yeyi watu bachenda nubana gemikono. Yeyiwe muroji tubachenzo wabarebera. Yeyiwe muroji tubachenda nubana gemikono. Yeyiwe muroji kundu banguine mama. Yeyiwe muroji watarzine kwenye mrawi. Yeyiwe muroji tubachenda che bachenda che.
you to our cultural performers. What would this life be without music and dance? Music and dance bring so much color to our lives. I imagine it would just be like what, gray? The world would be gray without music and dance. Thank you to our cultural performers. Now, earlier I asked that each and every one of us here today makes a pledge towards the Give Her a Chance campaign. And I'd just like to point out all the FAWE Uganda folders that are on each and every one of the tables here today. In the folders, we have contribution cards, pledge cards, so please do not leave them there. Whatever you can give will be most appreciated. Now, 25 years of FAWE Uganda is why we're here. But FAWE Uganda would not be without FAWE Africa, with a presence in so many African countries. So please allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to invite the FAWE Africa chairperson here with us today. That is Honorable Simone Marie-Anne de Comamond. You're welcome.
Our distinguished guest of honor, Honorable Janet Kataha Museveni, the First Lady of the Republic of Uganda and the Minister of Education and Sports. Honorable Minister Sarah, honorable members of Parliament present, members of a diplomatic corps, UN agencies and other development partners, members of the Executive Committee of FAWE Uganda, civil society organizations, officials from government agencies, members of the academia, the FAWE fraternity, members of the media, Executive Director of FAWE Africa, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. On behalf of the entire FAWE Africa fraternity, I am honored to address you today as we celebrate FAWE Uganda's Silver Jubilee. To see such a vibrant national chapter flourish and celebrate milestones like this make me extremely proud. I am delighted to join you all today on such an auspicious occasion coming all the way from the Seychelles. For the benefit of those who may not be familiar with FAWE, we are a Pan-African non-governmental organization founded in 1992 by 5 of us women ministers of education with a view to promote girls and women's education in sub-Saharan Africa in line with the Education for All global campaign. Our mission is to work together with our funding partners and other stakeholders with a view to create positive societal attitudes, policies, and practices that promote equity for girls in terms of access, retention, performance, and education quality by influencing the transformation of education policies and systems in Africa. We are guided by our vision, which is a just and inclusive society in which all African girls and women have access to quality education and training in order to achieve their full potential. FAWE is present in 33 African countries, working in 34 national chapters. And of course, that includes Uganda, of which I am happy to say that it is one of the high-profile chapters. Our guest of honor, ladies and gentlemen, it is almost 30 years now when I and 4 other like-minded ministers of education had a dream to see millions of marginalized and disadvantaged African girls get an opportunity to have a decent education and training. So, alongside Dr. Fei Chung of Zimbabwe, the late Honorable Vida Yeboah of Ghana, Her Excellency Paulette Musavo Misambo of Gabon, and Her Excellency Alice Tiandre-Bego of Burkina Faso, we planted the seed to give birth to FAWE. Other African women ministers, distinguished women leaders, and partners rallied behind this noble cause. Today, FAWE has left an indelible impact and has created a niche in Africa's and the global education sector. The dream is being realized in front of our very own, in the unveiling of a promise to help girls and women realize their highest potential. Today, we've all come together to celebrate FAWE Uganda's 25 years of enhancing girls' and women's education for development. We at FAWE Africa are extremely proud of our Ugandan chapter. You have recorded many success stories on your books, and more importantly, you have contributed towards the leadership of FAWE by making available one of your own, who was at one point the executive director of the chapter and who is today the executive director of the FAWE regional office. For those of you who may not know her, may I introduce to you Madame Martha Muezi. I have been closely associated with the work of different executive directors in the past, having been at the helm of the organization at its chairperson for a number of years at different intervals. Let me assure you today, we have one of the best that FAWE has ever known. Her leadership qualities and work output are highly remarkable and much appreciated by the Regional Executive Board. Thank you, Uganda, for your great contributions towards the enhancement of FAWE in Africa. Having been in existence since 1997, the FAWE Uganda chapter has kept its inherent focus on girls' and women's education, training, and development, all the while not losing sight of the boys and men, as we have heard earlier on. The numerous programs that they have implemented have for 25 years aimed at addressing the root causes of problems facing communities. Honorable Janet Museveni, we as FAWE pledge to continue working closely with the ministry, especially in the areas of policy influencing. Your ministry's partnership is of great value to the FAWE chapter. The celebration of FAWE Uganda's accomplishments is not restricted to FAWE as such, but it is a celebration for Africa as a whole. The many milestones scored in girls' education in this country constitute Africa's steps towards the gender equality goal in education. Our outstanding yet powerful interventions are the light that guides us as we maneuver the complex task of educating girls in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, today the world is taking stock of the impact brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. We are no longer talking about school closures, as schools are now fully functional. The center of focus is currently on those girls who have dropped out of school or are on the verge of dropping out for varied reasons. FAWE will continue to build public awareness of the social and economic value of girls' education so that citizens take up responsibility for the task and collectively work to support the girls' education agenda and lifelong learning. I urge us all not to remain static with the education challenges that we encountered during the pandemic, but rather let us be flexible and innovative and move on with the times, adopting strategies that are best suited for the education of girls. 25 years is no mean feat, as many others who have spoken before me have said. Immeasurable recognition and thanks to all our stakeholders, the founding members of FAWE Uganda, current and former executive directors of FAWE Uganda, current and former board members of Uganda, current and former staff, our donors and partners, and our alumni. Today will not have been a reality without you. FAWE owes you all a debt of gratitude. I would like in a special way to thank Honorable Janet Kataha Museveni, the First Lady of the Republic of Uganda and the Minister for Education and Sports, and by extension, the President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for their immeasurable and perpetual support to FAWE and the girls of Uganda. Thank you. You have been and continue to be instrumental in the advancement of girls and women's education in Africa. Today, we are celebrating excellence in supporting girls' education. We have made tremendous strides, and we will not stop here, having reached this far. Our energy is limitless, and we shall continue to strive for excellence and to reach greater heights. God bless FAWE. God bless Africa. God bless you all. I thank you for your attention. Our guests of honor, ladies and gentlemen, as I have the floor, I cannot miss the opportunity to ask the Executive Director of FAWE Regional Africa to give us some highlights of what FAWE has been doing or is planning to do, because next year we're celebrating 30 years of FAWE. It's 25 years of Uganda chapter, but 30 years of FAWE soon. Over to you, Martha. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair, Your Excellency, the First Lady, and the Minister of Education and Sports, Mama Janet Museveni, all distinguished guests. Allow me, in the interest of time, to stand on the existing protocol. A lot has been said about FAWE, and I will not repeat what has been said. But just to mention that FAWE is a network of 33 countries, but with 34 chapters. 34 chapters come because of Tanzania. We have 2 chapters, Tanzania mainland and Zanzibar. That brings it to 34 chapters. So all the work that FAWE Uganda is doing is similar to what the other 33 chapters are doing. We work within the same vision, a world in which all African girls have access to education, perform well, complete their studies, and also ensure there are no more gender disparities in education. And all the 33 chapters work within the same mission, and that is promoting gender equity and equality in education. It has been already mentioned, we are Pan-African. And we also have, just like FAWE Uganda, the FAWE Africa has a board of 11 members who come from across the African continent. And the chair is one of the board members. But allow me also recognize the presence of Professor Joy Kwesiga, who is one of the board members of FAWE Africa. And in the same vein, I would like to recognize Professor Mary Okwakol, who was a member of FAWE Africa and is currently a member of FAWE Africa. And lastly, I just want to mention the works that we do in brief. One is policy and advocacy, both at regional and at country level. Susan elaborated that, and I will not go into details. We also do what we call community mobilization for enhanced support for girls and women's education. We do what we call demonstrative interventions. These are tested models that work for any girl that would want to get in school, keep into school, and complete the education cycle. And above all, we do replication and mainstreaming. What happens, the good practice in one country is shared across the board, and all this is implemented in the 33 countries that I have talked about. Allow me end here. And we have been recognized as the EDs, the former EDs of FAWE Uganda. But I want to believe that as ED of FAWE Uganda, I built on the foundation of the works that the first ED of FAWE Uganda did. And I think it would be unfair if I didn't recognize and introduce the first ED, and that is Madame Florence Kanyike. All the works that we talk about, all that we pride in, was the fruit of Florence Kanyike and her team, and they did a good job that we are all now carrying on. Again, thank you so much, and allow me to end at this.
Thank you so much. A big round of applause for Madame Martha Muhwezi, as well as Honorable Simone Marie Anne de Comamon. Thank you so much for your comments. Ladies and gentlemen, we have something specially prepared for us today for this occasion. You cannot have a celebration without music. We've had dance, but we have more of the arts. So allow me to welcome the Ginger School of Nursing and Midwifery here with us today. They have prepared something special for us. Welcome, ladies.
The Honorable First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Mama Janet Kataha Museveni, the FAWE fraternity, all distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a good afternoon to you all. Your Excellency, Mama Janet, my name is Chelangat Dokas, a FAWE beneficiary and also a student from Busitema University, currently pursuing a Bachelor's of Science in Anesthesia and Critical Care. I'm so delighted to be part of this Silver Jubilee launch, And being born from a humble background, I grew up seeing challenges and smelling challenges right, left, and center. But nevertheless, I maneuvered always to see my dreams come true. I sold vegetables for my secondary education. I also did a variety of activities to see that I maneuvered to see my secondary education success. And behold, soon after my secondary education, I was picked up by FAWE Uganda through applications and interviews by the current executive director, Ms. Susan Tusime. Having desired to join medical school, but limited by my results, having attended a community school where I hardly saw a teacher, where I only saw instruments during my UNEB examinations, where we used cups as our beakers until when we sat for our A-level exams, I was not able to meet the required results to join me into university. But through FAWE Uganda, I was supported for a bridging program, that is the Higher Education Access Certificate program that was launched at Busitema University, and 1 year down the road, I was able to be enrolled for my medical school studies. I therefore thank FAWE Uganda, and by this, I saw FAWE Uganda as a heavenly sent at my time of need. I therefore look forward to giving back to my community through changing lives, through helping a girl child like me who perhaps could drop out of school, because I believe that if it wasn't for FAWE Uganda, perhaps I would be a mother of 3, I would be a mother of 4. All thanks to FAWE Uganda, and let's all stand up to change lives while breaking barriers to girls' future through education. Long live FAWE Uganda, for God and my country.
Our dear chief guest, the First Lady, Mama Janet Museveni. We are the FAWE beneficiaries from Ginger School of Nursing and Midwifery, and we are glad to present to you a poem entitled
Morning at Last. A young life, full of dreams, beautiful to the core. Eyes to the stars. She walks in beauty, with her head held high, so young, so tender, dressed in teenage beauty. Eyes to the stars. Dreams are life, she toils, she shoots for the stars, and that she must be. White blouse and blue school skirt, she trudges to school each day, she won't give up on her dreams.
On she presses,
till the prize is won.
Till one evening,
all is lost in an instant.
Innocence lost, beauty faded, dreams crushed. A couple of fortnights,
her tummy bulges.
As the tummy grows, so do her woes. 9 months,
she is a mother.
A child woos a baby.
She has no place in her father's abode. An outcast, a wanderer she has become. The cold of the night she endures. Oh, broken dreams, all in pieces. She beseeches the heavens, entreating the heavenly hand to aid her. Bless FAWE, help on its way. Out of the mire she is pulled. Second chance holds her erect. Baby aside, she makes a U-turn. Pen and book in hand yet again. The dream is rebirthed. Her broken pieces put together. The little fragments of her tender years pieced up. With a second chance, the teenage mother sows. Oh, it's morning at last, after a dark night. We, the beneficiaries of FAWE Uganda, we are so grateful for the support rendered to us to achieve our dreams.
We appeal to the government of the Republic of Uganda, Ministry of Education and Sports, the local governments, the NGOs and other potential donors to join FAWE in breaking barriers to the girls' future through education. Long live FAWE, for God and my country.
Thank you. And thank you to the ladies, the beneficiaries, ladies and gentlemen, the Ginger School of Nursing and Midwifery. Please give them a round of applause. What a wonderful day. What a wonderful, wonderful day. What a beautiful celebration we are here for. I've been told that I apparently get a little emotional, but I'm really feeling so good about today. So again, congratulations to FAWE Uganda on 25 years of amazing work. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to take you through the next part of our program so that we are all on the same page. I am going to invite our next speaker. She will in turn invite the Honorable First Lady, our chief guest, to make her remarks. That will be followed by a signing of a commitment towards girls' education and protection, and then we will have a photo opportunity. Now, the photo opportunity will be with 3 groups of people that I will invite by name. This is in order to maintain SOPs, and that will happen, of course, with our chief guest. They will all be seated, and it will happen one group after another. So I'd just like to clarify, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker will invite our chief guest to make her remarks. That will be followed by a signing of a commitment towards girls' education and protection, and then finally a photo opportunity with 3 groups of people who are aware that they will be joining us. Yes? Are we ready to move forward in the program? You see, I'm excited. Ladies and gentlemen, please now allow me to invite the State Minister for Youth and Children Affairs from the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, Honorable Sarah Mateke. You're very welcome.
Our chief guest, the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Honorable Mama Janet Kataha Museveni, Honorable members of Parliament who are here, Your Excellency, the ambassadors that are here, the representative of European Union, the heads of agencies and departments that are here, heads of civil society organizations, the religious bodies that are represented here, the UN representatives and other development partners present, representatives of FAWE, fraternity, media representatives that are here, the children and friends present, ladies and gentlemen. I want to take this opportunity to thank our chief guest, Mama. Amidst your heavy schedules, you have created time always to listen and to be present on issues to do with children and women. Thank you so much. I bring you warm greetings from Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, and I want to applaud and congratulate FAWE Uganda chapter on your celebrations to mark 25 years of enhancing girls' and women's education for development. We want to congratulate you and thank you for breaking the barriers. By enhancing women and girls' education, you're contributing to our ministry's mandate of mobilizing and empowering communities to enhance their potential while protecting the rights of vulnerable population groups. The celebrations are quite timely because the COVID pandemic has created heightened violence against girls, against our young women at family and community level. And in all this, the girl child has been more affected. The celebrations, therefore, provide us an opportunity to rethink our strategies for preventing and protecting the girl child and the young women as we galvanize collective action to eliminate violence against them and hence ensure that the girl child is retained in school and subsequently completes school. We take cognizance of the effects of COVID-19 on our girls and young women and support all efforts to unturn these effects so as to enable them to take up available opportunities in the education sector and other sectors for holistic development. In Uganda, violence against the girl child is deep-rooted in our negative cultural norms and values and poor parenting practices, which promotes a vicious cycle of vulnerability for the girl child, hence making it widely spread and still rampant. The parents normally say, spare the rod and spoil the child. And this often quoted justifies their continued physical violence of the girl child in Uganda. According to 2018 National Violence Against Children Survey, parents or adults who are their relatives were the most common perpetrators of this form of violence in childhood. The protection of the girl child from all forms of violence is central to the government of Uganda. This commitment is demonstrated by the policy, legal, and administrative frameworks that have been put in place to protect the rights in all settings. For example, in Uganda, we have ratified a number of international and regional protocols on the promotion and welfare of children and other vulnerable groups. I will not go through all of them due to time, but I can give you an example on the international level. We have the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Children. We have the United Nations Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. And of course, on a regional level, we also have the African Charter on Human and People's Rights and the rights of women in Africa. When you come to our own country, we have put in place, of course, the Constitution is very clear, the 1995. It highlights the rights of children, and the Children Amendment Act 2016, which is very clear, the Prohibition of the Female Mutilation Act 2010, and of course, the National Development Plan 3 highly prioritizes ending child marriage and teenage pregnancy, which have been exacerbated by COVID-19 pandemic. The National Child Policy 2020, which is premised on 5 pillars, that is survival and health, education and development, child protection, child participation, and the system strengthening for child well-being. The National Policy on Elimination of Gender-Based Violence in Uganda, 2016. In reference in today's theme, increased access to education opportunities for child mothers and other dropouts for resilience and sustainable development, I recognize the huge negative impact of COVID-19 pandemic brought to many girls and young women in Uganda. Available evidence points to increased levels of sexual harassment, exploitation, and abuse, including defilement, teenage pregnancy, child marriage, child labor, child neglect, and broken families. If you look at the statistics that were collected during 2021, only using our child helpline, Sauti 116, we had within 3 months, I think from January to March, these were just calls, and calls related to child neglect, all those that I've mentioned above, we had 400 calls, just one center, just 3 months. Of course, we have had leading crimes reported. I'm sorry, I'm just used to using the mask. Of course, we have had leading crimes reported, and these have been common assaults. That's still using our Sauti helpline. Common assaults, we had 24,799 cases, which represented 12.9% of the crimes reported. Domestic violence was 17,664 cases, representing 9% of the crimes reported. Defilement, that is with only 4 months, we had 14,134 cases, representing 7.2% of the crimes reported. The ministry recognizes the family as the first structure of protection of children in society. And it is an undeniable fact that children who grow up safe and secure in homes have a less likelihood of getting exposed to such abuse. We therefore urge that all children grow up in homes where they receive parental care, guidance, and attachment so as to grow well and access all basic services empowered. To strengthen the role of the family as a core protection structure, Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development has developed national standards of parenting programs and a national parenting manual, which is underway to streamline parenting programs in Uganda. The legal framework mentioned as basically meant to implement alongside other government programs in a bid to minimize the risks of vulnerable people to abuse and exploitation. As a ministry, we have put there various programs which are tailor-made to cause development in our areas. For example, we are now rolling down the parish development model, which is there to help our youth and children. The Youth Livelihood Program, WEP, the Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program. In addition, the ministry has supported a number of nationwide campaigns on negative practices that undermine the rights of girls and women. Such practices include child marriage, female genital mutilation, gender-based violence, child sacrifice, human trafficking, among others. And the ministry has also been part of the launch that was here, which was launched by our mama in December. As a ministry, we call upon the collective efforts of everyone in protecting and fostering interventions that reduce the vulnerability of child mothers and teenage pregnant girls and other school dropouts to acquire skills for self-reliance and socio-economic empowerment. As executive, we are there to plan, we are there to lobby, monitor, and enforce all government programs. As the legislature, they will pass gender equity laws, monitor, and deliberately allocate resources in social protection interventions. With the judiciary, we expect them to execute laws on prohibition of abuse and discrimination against all persons. The development partners, we continue to request for your support to provide for more resources, expertise, skills, technology, and nurture more sustainable partnerships with Government of Uganda for holistic growth and development. Civil society continue to design programs and interventions that will address vulnerability, advocate, and build formidable partnerships with the government and promote balanced development. On the side of religious and cultural leaders, protect the girls, the child mothers, teenage pregnant girls, and other vulnerable groups from negative cultural and religious beliefs, especially those that have been outlawed. Be agents and voices of change and rally community members to provide safe, nurturing, and inclusive practices that attach high value of all persons. Let us promote the African norm. It takes a village to raise a child. Parents and community members, you have godly duty, and the state trusts in you in being or bringing forth and nurture, support, and protect and empower our children to grow holistically, acquire skills for self-reliance, and raise culturally and morally upright citizens. Your roles count a lot. For our girls and boys and young people, focus on education first. Set goals and lay strategies to achieve them. Love yourself and respect other people. Seek help from the people you trust and the institutions of government. Above all, know that there is a creator that you need to respect and who is above everything. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I once again congratulate FAWE Uganda chapter for your Silver Jubilee celebrations. I want to thank you for also including the boys. Let me thank you, because if we leave out the boys, you have seen what has happened. We had always promoted the girl child, and the boys said, okay, you have left us behind, we are going to teach you a lesson. And indeed, that's why we are making noise about the teenage pregnancies. If we had known earlier, we would have pulled both the girl and the boy together. I want to thank you for giving an opportunity to these young girls who would be who would be mothers by now. As I was seated with the executive director, I was whispering and I said, I really want to thank Mama, because I went and visited a village. In that village, when I inquired, I found there was nobody who had ever completed P7 in that village. It is a hard-to-reach area. But Mama, I want to thank you because you have given us a primary school, and as I speak now, we have children who have gone to school. Thank you so much. So as FAWE, we want to commend you for the good work. Please keep it up. And for girls who have got that opportunity, please don't leave your other sisters behind. I want to thank you, and as FAWE, on your Silver Jubilee celebrations and the launch of your fundraising drive, I'm going to put there my pledge, you will see it. Together, we can accord our girls and child mothers a dignified life through social protection. I want to thank you once again, and I would request, as you requested, that I take this opportunity to invite Mama, the First Lady, the person who always has passion for our children and for the women. Mama, First Lady, people are ready to listen to you. Thank you so much for God and my country.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Mateke. Honorable Mateke, the Minister of State for Youth and Children Affairs. Your Excellency, the Ambassador of Ireland to Uganda, the UN Women Country Representative, the UN Women Country Representative, the Chairperson FAWE Africa, FAWE Board Chairperson, other partners in development that are here this afternoon, civil society organizations, officials from government agencies, academia, the young people, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to you all. It is an honor and pleasure for me to be here with you today as we launch the FAWE Uganda Chapter Silver Jubilee celebrations. Congratulations to FAWE. I want to apologize for the many times we have postponed this important event. This was due to several reasons, including the death of our former Speaker of Parliament and the recent state visit of a head of state from Mozambique and his wife. I want to thank you, therefore, for your patience, and I thank God for making it possible for us to be here today. I believe his timing is the best. I applaud the FAWE Uganda chapter for accomplishing 25 years of transforming the lives of vulnerable girls and young women through education. FAWE Uganda's membership effort, sacrifice, and dedication are the reason for the milestone, and I warmly commend your work. I must also acknowledge the founder's foresight, which is in line with this year's International Women's Day theme, Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow, in quotes. FAWE Uganda works very closely with the Ministry of Education and Sports, as you heard many say before me, in the area of influencing policy, and as a result, a number of policies have been passed in the interest of the education of the girl child. These include the Gender in Education Policy, Sexuality Education Framework, National Strategy on Ending Child Marriage and Teenage Pregnancy, National Guidelines on Prevention and Management of Teenage Pregnancy and Re-entry of Child Mothers in School, Senior Women and Men Teacher Guidelines and Ordinances on Ending Child Marriage, Teenage Pregnancy, and all forms of violence against children, women, and girls at district level. I must recognize your partnership with the National Council for Higher Education also, which developed the Higher Education Access Certificate Program. This program provides opportunity for students, as you heard somebody say before me, students who did not perform well or who were unable to score 2 principal passes at A level to enroll for a 1-year preparatory course at university and then pursue courses of their choice. This innovative program in the education sector is now the 4th entry route to university. Furthermore, through FAWE's efforts, today, over 5,000 young people, including vulnerable girls and child mothers, have had the opportunity to enroll for vocational education, some of whom have successfully completed their courses. Additionally, I understand that over 8,256 young people have been supported to enroll and complete their education at secondary, tertiary, and university level. Through scholarships and support that complement government efforts to care for the education of vulnerable girls and young women, FAWE has been at this now for 25 years as we celebrate today. As a result, we now have young people who have taken on careers as members of parliament, as doctors and engineers, among other disciplines. Interventions on ending all forms of violence and abuse against women, promoting economic empowerment, awareness raising, and engagement of various stakeholders on the urgency to end vices that negatively impact the girl child and women in general have also been successfully implemented by FAWE. Recently, in the same spirit, FAWE supported a study on the situation of and impact of COVID-19 on school-going girls and young women. In partnership with the Ministry of Education and Sports, and sadly, this study revealed a 22.5% increase. I think somebody mentioned this before me. An increase in pregnancy among girls aged 10 to 24 in 3 months of the lockdown from 80,655 in March to 98,810 in June 2020, and a 366.5% increase in teenage pregnancy among 10 to 14-year-olds. It is important to note that these findings threaten to undermine the progress made in gender equity by government and in the last 25 years of FAWE's existence in Uganda. However, if we take appropriate action as directed by the Ministry of Education and Sports and the Ministry of Health and through institutions such as FAWE, we can make a difference in the lives of these young people. I would, however, like to focus on one major underlying factor behind these statistics: our parental role in the family and societal setting, which, if handled well, could have abated many of these tragedies that befell our children. As parents and members of society, each one of us has a God-given responsibility to protect children from exposure to evil and exploitation which bombard them in every sphere of life, especially in this season. Young people today grow up in an environment characterized by a lack of moral conscience, where, for instance, incest goes on unabated in some families. This is both a religious and cultural abomination and a complete breach of trust between our generation and that of our children, especially girls. Similarly, with the overwhelming influences of unregulated internet and social media, cultural and religious values that honor the sanctity of marriage, as well as the preservation of the innocence of children, are largely overlooked by society today. There are examples of countries which put a lot of emphasis, and we can take those examples and learn from them. There are examples which put a lot of emphasis on the wholeness of a family, that most mothers would choose not to work outside the home, and if need be, to even homeschool their children, instead of sending their children to school while they go out to work and have no time to take care of the growing up of their own children, which would put their children at risk. Because as parents, guardians, and responsible citizens, it is our God-given duty to nurture the young generation to be God-fearing and morally upright. Indeed, the Bible in Ephesians 6:4 states, in quotes, "Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord," unquote. The Word of God encourages fathers and mothers to bring up children in the instruction of the Lord. God's Word is the yardstick that provides a moral compass for the care and upbringing of the younger generation. I urge parents and responsible citizens to embrace this God-given mandate and create an enabling family and community environment which protects children from, among other things, sexual immorality and this digital age which exposes them to a wide variety of evils. I'd like to share with you a brief story of a woman that I admire and considered a valuable example that impacted many generations. This story is about a girl called Susan. Susan loved God and would pray often to God to guide her and make her life count. She apparently was born in a large family of 25 children. But from a very early age, she loved God and had a burning desire to live her life for God. It is said that as a young girl, she dreamed of starting a spiritual fire that would burn through England to the uttermost parts of the earth. She was always looking for an opportunity to fulfill that dream. Later on, she married a church minister and started having children. She gave birth to 19 children. Just like her mother, she had a big family. She then devoted most of her time and effort to being a good wife and a good mother. Susan never traveled the world like she had prayed and hoped for. She never started the great spiritual fire she dreamed of. But her dream became a reality in her 13th and 17th children. These children were called Charles and John Wesley, who spread the gospel and inspired worldwide reforms. Some of you may have read the books of these men, which gave birth to the Methodist movement in the world. And it is said that their education centered in the home still impacts the world up to today. And the saying that the potential for an entire forest resides in one seed is shown in the life of Susan. That seed is present in each one of us, and together we are the forest that God can use to change our nation. Now, with regard to government's response to the challenges our children are facing, with support from UNICEF and UNFPA, the ministry has spearheaded a national campaign that many have talked about to address defilement, teenage pregnancy, and to promote responsible parenting, codenamed Protect the Girl, Save the Nation, in quotes. I know that this campaign is not yet known in the country because it has been delayed by the preparatory processes, but it will soon take off. And I call upon every Ugandan, both young and old, to join this campaign. We must work collectively to end these challenges that affect the education of young people. Families, community members, and local leaders all have a role to play in reporting offenders and those who promote these evils to the law enforcement agencies. During this Silver Jubilee celebration, I urge the people of Uganda to support the upcoming FAWE fundraising activities to provide for the return to school of vulnerable girls, including the ongoing campaign dubbed, in quotes, Send a Vulnerable Girl to School. I pledge government support to FAWE's initiatives to keep the girl child in school and to enable them complete the education cycle. Finally, as patron of FAWE, I wish FAWE Uganda the very best as we commemorate 25 years of changing lives through education. This is an opportunity to reflect and deliberate on our great journey thus far and the challenges encountered, as well as how we overcame them. Together, let us use the impetus of a successful past to look forward in anticipation to more innovative ways of promoting gender equality, so as to usher the girl child and women into a more sustainable future. I want to congratulate you on this remarkable milestone. And with me today, I just brought a humble donation of 20 million shillings for the fundraising of FAWE, and I want to hand it over to the FAWE chairperson and thank you all, and God bless FAWE. God bless FAWE Uganda and FAWE Africa. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Mama, for that donation. It is received with so much humility. We cannot thank you enough. Another round of applause for our donation to the campaign, Give Her a Chance, the fundraising effort that has been launched by FAWE Uganda for the Silver Jubilee celebration. We thank you again for your donation, but Mama would also like you to know that FAWE Uganda have prepared a gift for you for your support in the work that you do, especially for school-going children, for girls, young women, and would like to say thank you for attending this event today. Thank you very, very much. So we have a gift for you that I believe is right there being handed over to you right now. Thank you again. What a moment. Yes. We have a plaque that you can all see. And something more that, of course, is made in Uganda, because we're all about boo-boo. Buy Uganda, build Uganda. Yes? Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as explained earlier, the next part of the program is the signing of the commitment that we shall have first done by our chief guest, that is Mama, our Honorable First Lady. We are now having the signing of the commitment towards girls' education and protection. Yes, there we have it. We have it in writing, and the journey begins together. Thank you so much, Mama. I'd now like to invite His Excellency Kevin Colgan to also join us for the signing of the commitment. Ms. Adekemi Ndieli, please join us. Mr. Nicholas Gonze, the representative for the European Union Ambassador. If we can have Honorable State Minister Sarah Mateke also joining us to sign on the commitment. And Honorable Sarah Mateke, please join us. And Rosemary Rugamba Ranyange from UNICEF, please, you're invited to also sign on this commitment towards girls' education and protection. Protect the Girl, Save the Nation, a national campaign that was launched in December last year, and that is moving forward strong with FAWE Uganda joining this campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, we are next moving to the photo opportunities, where we'll have 3 groups. Now we will first have the group that have signed on the commitment. There is a chair right at the end that is free. Round of applause, please. I thank you very much. For the second group signing the commitment, who can I? Okay, Susan is already there. What about Margaret Atim? Is she there? So the three were not there, so we will invite Dr. Christine Wilema, Martha Mwezi, Honorable Simone is not there, and Margaret Atim. She's there. Sorry, Margaret is there? All right, joining us for the next photo, can we have Dr. Jane Mulemwa joining us, Honorable Ruth Kavuma, if we can have Dr. Christine Oryema and Honorable Simone Marie-Anne de Comamon for the next photo opportunity. And Martha Mwezi, please join us for the second round of photos. And to everyone who have taken this one, thank you very much. You may now return to your seats. Apologies. We shall join you for that. Please stay, remain seated. That has been clarified. So kindly join that group and we shall have a picture together. Thank you very much. I can imagine the smiles behind the masks. We can see it in the eyes. And for the next group to join us, can we have Ms. Florence Kanyike, Professor Mary Okwakol, Honorable Rose Obiga, Ms. Grace Nanyonga, Dr. Mary Nampao, and Ms. Elizabeth Kalemera, if you can join us. Yes. That is followed. And we have a group of ladies also joining us. The young ladies joining us. Can we have the nurses joining us quickly for this photo opportunity? The young ladies who have been briefed to join us, thank you very much. Can you make your way quickly? And Professor Joy Kwesiga, please join us for this photo opportunity as well. Okay, as I said before, big smiles so we can see it in your eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, what a wonderful day, what a celebration today as the Silver Jubilee celebrations for FAWE Uganda are launched. We thank each and every one of you for coming today. We cannot thank our chief guest, Mama, for your contribution enough, for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here and constantly supporting young girls and young women towards their education. Ladies and gentlemen, from there? Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the East African anthem, and that will be followed by the national anthem. And that brings us to the end of our formal program today. A round of applause for Mama joining us. Thank you so much for giving us your time and again for your contribution. I know that other people will follow suit. We're inspired to contribute as well. Do enjoy the rest of your day. God bless you and thank you again. My name is Crystal Newman. It's been an absolute honor being your mistress of ceremony today at the Silver Jubilee launch for FAWE Uganda. I'd like to invite you to lunch, ladies and gentlemen. So again, ladies and gentlemen, we do have lunch prepared for you. You will be ushered table by table to the lunch area. So please enjoy, bon appetit, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Varunja tunondeva kunche mawenja Yatinyamanga kankora jawa Varunji yashemera 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 nero karwa gasha Varunji yashemera 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 nero karwa gasha Baru inkaguma kareva inono Kareva inono Kareva yuweshe Kariba bafewe nbazana Kariba inono Kariba yuweshe Kariba inono Kariba bobana Yenbazana Bazana rabajenye Kariba inono Kariba yuweshe Kariba inono Kariba yuweshe Kariba inono Kariba yuweshe Katoma kamichenche Kabarabara katamachumu Umurakundu bankwine Yeyu otaritina Kariba inono Kariba yuweshe Kariba inono Kariba yuweshe Kariba inono Kariba yuweshe Katoma michenche Kabarabara katamachumu Umurakundu bankwine Yeyu otaritina Yemabara kuzana Kariba inono Kariba yuweshe Kariba inono Kariba yuweshe Kariba inono Asa Kariba inono Kariba inono Kariba inono Kariba inono Kariba inono Kariba inono Ebikamba bisemerize narianda Samba samba tugende ma Bisemerize narianda Yibojo gambiro tama Bisemerize narianda Yisamba samba tugende ma Bisemerize narianda Ya narianda Bisemerize narianda Owengaro gambiro tama Bisemerize narianda Owengaro timpurize ma bisemerize naryanda owengo mogambiro tsama bisemerize naryanda ya naryanda bisemerize naryanda isomba somba tugende ma ibojo gambiro tsama bisemerize naryanda ya naryanda bisemerize naryanda isomba somba tugende ma bisemerize naryanda ya naryanda owengaro tempurize ma bisemerize naryanda isomba somba tugende ma bisemerize naryanda ya naryanda bisemerize naryanda owengaro gambiro tsama bisemerize naryanda owengo matimpurize ma bisemerize naryanda owenyege mulgeje ma bisemerize naryanda orige punesa rumwino ma naryanda ya naryanda yesamba samba tugende ma yebojo gambiro tsama bisemerize naryanda ya naryanda bisemerize naryanda orige punesa rumwino ma bisemerize naryanda yesamba samba tugende ma bisemerize naryanda ya naryanda bisemerize naryanda yebojo gambiro tsama bisemerize naryanda yesamba samba tugende ma bisemerize naryanda ya naryanda bisemerize naryanda orige punesa rumwino ma naryanda yesamba samba tugende ma bisemerize naryanda yesamba samba tugende ma bisemerize naryanda ya naryanda bisemerize naryanda yesamba samba tugende ma bisemerize naryanda yesamba samba tugende ma ya naryanda bisemerize naryanda ya naryanda orige punesa rumwino ma bisemerize naryanda yesamba samba tugende ma bisemerize naryanda owengoro timporize ma bisemerize naryanda osamba samba tugende mukago yeyiwe redora yeyiwe dora yeyiwe redora yeyiwe osamba samba tugende dora yeyiwe obwire tobukakire dora yeyiwe redora yeyiwe osamba samba tugende dora yeyiwe dora yeyiwe obwire tobukakire dora yeyiwe redora yeyiwe osamba samba tugende mukago yeyiwe redora yeyiwe osamba samba tugende dora yeyiwe obwire tobukakire dora yeyiwe osamba samba tugende mukago